All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA props video. Going to be breaking down the top prop bets in the NBA Summer League today on Tuesday. I will say the board is a little bit tighter today as it was yesterday. Yesterday, as you guys know, was a pretty darn good day. A couple of bad beats that we'll touch on at the top of this video. But I do want to mention it is Taco Tuesday, so at the end of the video, I'll be highlighting the best bets on the board today as well, just in general for Prize Picks for Taco Tuesday purposes as well. And so just a quick recap from yesterday, guys. A good day overall. We had two really kind of bad beats on the day. One was in Charlotte and the other one was in Toppin. Now, I didn't get confirmation of what happened here, like if he ended up getting injured, but we'll take a quick peek at the minutes, and I think it would suggest that for both of them. And yeah, so if we look at it, guys, only 18 minutes, and it didn't seem like he got that much run in the second half. Most of his minutes came in the first half, only 6 shot attempts up. All of his points came in the first half. So I'm wondering if he got injured, which led to obviously some more bench minutes. We also saw Conopel ended up playing in that game, which was a little bit of a shock, and also a shock that someone else did not end up sitting as a result of him playing. But then, yes, when we look at someone like Jacob Toppin, who was just going off, guys, we nailed the spot. 15 minutes in the first half. With 30 seconds left, though, in the first half, he grabs a rebound, starts dribbling up the court, and then injures himself, seemingly. I posted a clip of that on my X account if you guys want to see it. Very tilting there because he was going off 12 points, basically almost had his overs in the first half. So a little bit annoying there. That cost me a decent amount. Like 4 slips that would have been 5 slip bets with a couple of DNPs in there, and then a few 6 slip bets. So that was pretty darn tilting with both of those, really, but especially Toppin. But we go ahead here and look at the games that we have today. The first game is probably going to be the most appealing just in terms of players that we can expect to play. Both teams have 2 wins between Detroit and Minnesota there. It's a high-scoring game, 187. And for what it's worth, guys, yesterday we actually had 2 differing games. We had a couple of games get into both teams scoring over 100 points, which is crazy. And then you look at the LA game, the Clippers versus Lakers game. So it's like 67 points was the points that were scored. It was a terrible game there for the LA crowd. So very interesting slate there. But we look at today's slate. We are getting a decent amount of high scoring games. So his first game, again, probably a game that we want to be attacking. And then we look at some other games. So 185, close game here as well. Another pretty high scoring game, close game as well. It is worth calling out. We do have one game here that is expected to be a blowout here with Toronto blowing out Denver as well. So for props betting purposes, that is going to change maybe what we're looking at a little bit there as well. And so let's go ahead and take a peek at the first game here. We are getting prop bets for Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon and also Leonard Miller. All players that I do think we can expect to get minutes, but I will say the lines that we are getting for them all seem to be pretty much correct. I'm not sure we're actually getting edges for them specifically. And before we continue breaking that down, let's just take a quick peek at the NBA Summer League Optimizer just to show you guys where we are getting the prop line differences. Not much on today's slate, unfortunately. It seems like a lot of the big prop line differences that we're getting between the two sites have been corrected. Now, there are some spots here that I don't mind. Like, for example, we should call it Rob Dillingham here. It's a small prop line difference, but it's enough. Okay, so Underdog has the line set at 16.5. Prize Picks has it at 15.5. So obviously, if we want to be chasing an over, I do think we want to end up getting to him for his over on Prize Picks. And a bet that I'd be more inclined to get to would probably be like Jenkins to get over his points of 13.5, but also the minutes are concerned there with him. Okay, so with him, we've seen him get 23 and 22 minutes. Has shot the basketball a decent amount, 10 times in each of the last 2 games. Really efficient, though, from 3-ball range. And so if those minutes are not going to be there for him again, which, probably just due to it being more blowouts the last 2 games, you add on a few more minutes there for him, then we probably get a few more shot attempts, and then his over is much more likely. But it is nice to see that he has gotten the over the last 2 slates. And so for his over 13.5 points, if we give him around 25 minutes, maybe 26 minutes in a close game, that's supposed to be high scoring. That is a bet that I can get to there. And then another bet that is worth calling out is going to be Bobby here, Klintman, where he has been getting a decent amount of run. Again, same things apply for him, where maybe in a closer game he still gets a little bit of extra run, but it is tough to get over 32 minutes in a Summer League game. We see 7 points and 10 points. We see 9 rebounds and 8 rebounds. So very interesting there. Some of the best that we're getting. He does get a tougher matchup going against the tall rookie big there for Minnesota in B-Ringer. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's how it's spelled out. But for Bobby, I could see potentially doing over 9.5 points or over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Like, I don't mind that bet there as well. But it is worth calling out with him. We are seeing a prop line difference. Okay. between prize based and underdog. His prize based line is at 9.5 points. That would be obviously showing you guys you'd be much more inclined to bet that over there. But it is interesting here, like his over a PRA for 20. If you guys do like that bet, do it on underdog of over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It's only a 0.5 difference, but I do think that does end up matter. He is someone that should get some boards. Again, a little bit worried about the matchup, and then worth calling out Chaz Laner as well. Prop line difference of 1 between the two sides. So if you guys like either side, that obviously you can get to that there as well. And then let's go ahead and get into the next game, Denver versus New York. Another game that's supposed to be high scoring, but I will say we're not really getting that many good prop bets, I would say, in this game. A lot of the lines seem to be correct, but it is worth calling out. We got Tyler Kolek here, and I really want to call out his shot attempts. 1 for 13, absolutely terrible, right? 0 for 6, 0 for 5 from 3-ball range in the last 2 games. And in the first game, guys, 4 for 11. So he is shooting the basketball a decent amount, which we like. He also is someone that has gained a decent amount of run in games that have been blowouts. So if this game is close, if it's a higher scoring game as well, then you would expect him to be part of the reason as to why that's occurring. Keep that in mind. We're going to touch on one other player as well. We got Kevin McClure Jr. as well. Another player that's gained a lot of minutes. Another player that has gained a decent amount of shot attempts, up 15 and 14 over the past 2 games, but the points have been there as well. 30 points and 13 points. Okay, so very good stuff there with him. I do think we have kind of a correlated bet slip that we can go with both of these players. Now, it is worth calling out that we were earlier in the day getting underdog line of 10.5 points. That was a bet where I really liked the over. It's also a bet where I did get the middle in, where I did bet on the under 12.5 points on prize picks because of that, because I was running out of middle. But I don't mind the over on underdog there of 11.5 points. Again, assuming that those shot attempts are still going to be there, I think we can get to that one. Now, if you are not wanting to bet on Kolek's over, maybe you are expecting him to continue to struggle, then I think we can get to Kevin McClure Jr. for over his PRA. Again, the shot attempts are there. He's also doing pretty well in the rebounds and assist department. You could go with his over points if you wanted to do that as well, but I think putting those all together, because he does have a decently high usage rate, I think that's the best route to go there as well. Then real quickly, we go ahead and take a peek at some of the prop bets we are getting here for Brooklyn. So Danny Wolf, we noticed that his points line is off by 1. Maybe a spot that you can get to. He's just not shooting the basketball enough. He is doing well defensively and whatnot. He is kind of a player that's doing stuff elsewhere, but just not a scorer. Drew Timmy has been the one scoring, getting a bunch of shot attempts, a bunch of minutes there as well. Shoot, I mean, if he's going to continue to shoot the basketball 20 times, you could get to his over there. Like that's a logical route to go. And again, I think with this team, it is worth calling out that we are getting, again, those prop line differences. Danny Wolf with his PRA, we are seeing a big prop line difference. And then Igor Demon as well, where we are seeing his points, rebounds, and assists is off by 1 compared to prize based and underdog. I could see myself getting to his over on prize based of 17.5. But again, that feels like we're forcing it a little bit. So I don't need to get to that. I think there are going to be better bets that we were getting later on. So let's go and jump into the next game. Okay, guys, so now getting to OKC. You're going to see that I have 2 bets that are currently listed here as bets that I like. We got Chris Youngblood for over 12.5 points. We also have Nikola Topic over 5.5 assists. These are 2 bets that should correlate as well. And the nice part is that they are 2 bets where if you put them together, our payout is not going to reduce, which to me is pretty darn awesome. So let's touch on those 2. So first and foremost, it is worth calling out that the Thunder have won their first 2 games, so they are going to be trying to win, right? That's part of the equation here when we're looking at some of these prop bets. We do notice that in the last game, guys, it was a blowout, 104-85. Okay, so we only ended up getting 22 minutes in that game, 7 points in that game, 2 for 6. Didn't exactly need to shoot the basketball all too much. In the first game, they won 90-81, ended up playing 30 minutes in that game, 18 points, shot the ball 18 times. So, mixed results there, but fine. We do see that he has gotten the over for assist in both games thus far. And don't get me wrong, it's not the highest scoring game. I wish it was higher scoring at 177, but it's supposed to be a close game. And so again, if Vegas is right about that, at least it being a close game and not a blowout, then I'm fine getting to that over with Topic. And so then we go ahead and get into Chris Youngblood. So he's another player that has been shooting the basketball a decent amount, but a little bit too efficiently, honestly. That's my biggest concern, is that he's been shooting the basketball too well. 5 for 8 from 3-ball range, and then 3 for 5 from 3-ball range. Obviously, that is not sustainable. If he drops down to even 35%, that's not going to bode well for us. But at the same time, do love the fact that he's getting minutes. Do love the fact that he has shot the basketball 10 times in each of the last 2 games. That is good enough for me. Wish the free throws were a little bit higher. Only 3 free throws in each of the last 2 games. That is a concern to me for sure. But I do like the fact that if this game is close, he probably should get closer to 26 minutes. And I do like the fact that he is shooting the basketball a decent amount. That is a bet, though, again, that I think correlates well with Topic for over his assists. Let me go ahead and get into Orlando real quick. I don't mind Tristan da Silva to get over 4.5 rebounds. I was looking for another bet in this game specifically, kind of as a little bit of a game stack. Again, don't necessarily love that because it is a lower scoring game for this slate, but it is kind of an appealing. I think that's why we are getting some of the lines a little bit lower than really what I think should be happening. Again, this slate is tighter than the one that we had yesterday, where the lines that we're getting were just strange. Today, they're a little bit more in line with what makes sense, but this is one that to me does stand out. Okay, so the biggest concern would be the losing streak, right? Okay, so haven't been playing well, probably not much to play for. He is someone that could potentially end up sitting. That would be a concern if he ends up sitting, but at the same time, it's kind of like Raynard yesterday where he ended up sitting, doesn't matter, it's DNP, our 6 slip bet goes to 5 slip, kind of whatever there. He is someone that has been getting heavy minutes, 28 minutes, in the last few games. Again, looking at the game totals, they have been close games at least, but they've been a little bit more low scoring, so don't necessarily love that. But 5 rebounds, 7 rebounds, like that there from him. He has been getting a decent amount of shot attempts up. I would have liked to actually get to his over points or something like that. I just feel like those lines are seemingly correct. Now, you could get to over his points as well as 16.5. I really wish we were combining those two to a points and rebounds line, because I do think the points, rebounds, and assist line is a little bit too high. Oh, well, that's what we're looking at there. Now, let's go ahead and get into the evening slate. It's a 4-game slate. Now, guys, in order to make this video not go too long, I'm actually going to skip over the Toronto and Denver game. I really think that the lines that we were getting there are correct, or just I don't really see a big edge there either way. Maybe some bets that actually are probably a little bit overvalued that we could be betting on some unders. But I don't want to get to those, so I'm just not even going to get into that game personally. So let's go ahead and jump into the next game. And for PrizePicks purposes, that's actually going to be the same thoughts that I have here for the Washington versus Philly game, except for one bet that we are getting on underdog. So we'll touch on that. Trey Johnson had a good game. Bub Carrington is someone you would expect to bounce back. He had a terrible game last game. Alex Sarr, a really good game last game. I wouldn't say terrible game, but not a good enough game in game 1. So a little bit of a concern there. And then we look at the bets that we're getting for Philly. Again, I just think that the lines are correct. Like Adam Bona for over his rebounds of 6.5 was one that slightly stood out to me, but he hasn't been getting enough minutes for me to truly trust that. Justin Edwards is someone you would expect to get a lot of run if VJ Edgecombe does still end up sitting. And then Mins is someone that over his points of 13.5, if he were to get the run, which is predicated on some player sitting, then I wouldn't mind his over 13.5 points. But at this point, those all seem to be a little bit too risky. And so in order to show the bet that I like, it's going to be Keyshawn George. We're looking at the PrizePicks optimizer. It's a middling opportunity if you guys wanted to, but I really like the over more so on underdog, a 24.5, okay, rather than the over 25.5 on PrizePicks. And a lot of that's due to the amount of minutes that he's been getting, guys, 31 and 32. I would expect him to still get those minutes. It is a situation where, again, if he's not going to get minutes, he's just probably not going to play. That's my assumption with him. Okay, he had 10 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists in his last game. So do the math there, that's 25 right there. So over there on underdog. And then the first game really went off, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Okay, the shot attempts were there, 4 for 16 in the last game, 10 for 18 in the first game. Very good stuff there. Just not good from 3-ball range last game. And so if he is still shooting around 8 3-ball attempts, you would expect him to have a better day shooting 3-ball wise. And so that should be baked into him having a good game. But again, that really calls out why I like that bet a little bit more so on underdog. Now, I do want to spend some time here on New Orleans players. It's just an interesting spot because like Fairs, Queen, and Missy as well, they're all players where I do think we are getting some good spots on. It is kind of like that earlier game with OKC and Orlando where I think we have a little bit of a stacking opportunity. I kind of see that here with the Pelicans, but the issue is Queen and Missy would kind of hurt each other, I think, rather than help each other. So like Queen for over his rebounds of 18.5 is an interesting bet, I will say. And then Missy for over 9.5 rebounds, I think is an interesting bet. And then Fairs, let's just talk about it because it's an extremely high line. And if you look at his maybe game log, you wouldn't love it. 16.5 points is a lot, but let's just talk about really all those. Okay, so we'll start with Fears where you just got to look at his shot attempts, guys. 5 for freaking 21. That's insane. He's someone that ended up getting us the over on that last slate with the line that we were getting. And it was mostly because of he went 4 for 12, but had a lot of minutes. Okay, we can assume he's still going to shoot the basketball a bunch. And he did. He just didn't shoot the basketball well. 1 for 7 from 3. Is getting to the free throw line. 5 and 6 free throw attempts the last 2 games. But yeah, 5 for 21. Love the fact that he's shooting it a lot. I think we can bank on him to still get those shot attempts up. And so really not a terrible spot, I would say. But also a bet that is not making the bet of the day for me as well. So we look at Yusuf Missy here as well, where We see 11 rebounds, 13 rebounds, decent enough minutes, guys, 25 and 26. So I really don't mind his over 9.5 rebounds. I think that's a little bit of an edge there. And then we got Derek Queen as well, 13 and 10 rebounds. So I really don't get the lines for either of them. Okay, I could easily see Queen getting his over rebounds and then Missy as well. But like, I don't like the fact that those two probably eat into each other, you know, a little bit minutes wise. And so we're probably having to pick and choose one of the two. And personally, I'd rather do a game stack. And so the flip side of that would then become kind of if Fears gets his over points, right? If Fears gets his over points, then that's probably going to mean less missed shots. 5 for 21, right? So that does kind of lead into probably why those two bigs were able to get their rebounds. So interesting spot. I did like all those ones. None of them are going to make the bet of the day, but they are probably bets that I'll work in some separate bet slips myself. And then just looking at Portland here, guys, not necessarily any spots I love, although Caleb Love, pun intended, is a little bit interesting, but they have really bumped up his lines to 17.5 to the point where it's just too high. No need to get there. And then kind of same thing for this last game, guys. Like Terrion Armstrong for over his points of 10.5 is a bet that sticks out to me, but also a bet that I feel like we'd be forcing in a little bit. Okay, he has been someone that has gotten minutes, 25 minutes, 4 for 9, 3 for 7. So there like really isn't much there, right? That's a little bit of a concern, but maybe it's a little extra run. Could see doing that, but again, that feels like we're forcing it. Don't exactly need to get there then. Then we look at Memphis. There is one bet that I've highlighted here. That's going to be our Armando Bacot to get over his points of 10.5. Cam Spencer to get over his points is not terrible as well. Like I think all the lines that we're getting here are basically correct other than this one. So we'll take a peek at this one. So the concern with him is definitely going to be the fact that he's only gotten 23 minutes. Okay. And he has gotten the over the last 2 games. Okay. So a little bit of, I would say honestly, a little bit of a concern there, just given the fact that we are still getting this line here. But 9 shot attempts, 13 shot attempts, that's appealing to me. We look at the rebounds, guys, 12 rebounds, 6 rebounds. So he is active when he's on the court. And so if we can assume that he's still going to get around 20 to 25 minutes, these 23 minutes, then he should be able to get the over of 9.5 points. Obviously, a lot of his shot attempts are around the rim. And so if he's getting us 9 shot attempts, then yes, he should be able to get over that 9.5 points. All right, so we'll go heading into the bet of the day just for the Summer League. Then we'll jump into Taco Tuesday prop bets here for you guys in just a second. So just a reminder, the Keyshawn George over PRA on Underdog is a bet that I like a decent amount. That might be my favorite bet on the day, actually, over 24.5 there. And then obviously we're not placing that on Prize Picks because he's at 25.5. So again, Tyler Kolek for over 12.5 points. Actually, guys, take this one off. Take this one off now, okay? Underdog has bumped their lineup while I was recording this video from 10.5 to 11.5 and now to 12.5. So honestly, take this one off. Part of the reason as to why I like this was because it was the middle. So if you want to sub in any of those other bets like Queen for over his rebounds, let's just do that. We'll do Queen, okay? And I'll just update the slip. One sec. Okay, so I did update, but just to make it clear, the reason why I liked the Kolek under was because it correlated with Kevin McClure to get over his PRA as well. And we were getting that prop line difference between the two sites. But again, subbing in Queen for over his rebounds. Don't love it, but it's a 6 slip up. We'll work with it. And then so Topic and Chris Youngblood, I do think correlate together. So the issue with this, again, low scoring game, don't love that. But if Topic is getting over 5.5 assists, it's probably because of someone like Youngblood at least getting an assist or 2 for Topic there as well. And then Silva in that same game, I do like 4.5 rebounds, just a little bit too low. And then Babcock over for 9.5 points. No massive edges here, but all decent. Again, this is not like yesterday, where yesterday we were getting some really good spots, it seemed like, and that ended up happening. And so, guys, just looking at the board that we have available for Taco Tuesday, it sucks. Just full disclosure, it is bad. Very bad. Okay, now we are getting maybe 1+ EV bet for made cuts for the Open Championship. Lucas Herbert has a 54% chance to make the cut. That's okay. Same thing with Lewis Glover, about almost, if we round up 54%. Could include those. We're getting 1 middle for League of Legends. Don't love that. So we got 1+ EV bet on the day, and that's a WNBA bet here. Nelson for over 14.5 points and rebounds. That is how tight of a board that we have, and I freaking hate it. Okay, we are going to be using that bet because that's the best that we got, but sucks for Taco Tuesday purposes. Now, hopefully you guys are limited, like me, at least for today's Taco Tuesday, so you don't feel the need to have to place a bunch of bets or anything like that, because it's not pretty. It's just not. So unfortunately there, we don't have much. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Do appreciate that. If you guys would like access to any of the tools available on 9to5sports.com, you guys can get access to all the tools for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. That'll give you access to that Prize Picks Optimizer as well as the Prize Picks cheat sheet, which is a little bit more in detail in terms of the lines. That'll give you access to all the fantasy golf tools available as well. So if you guys are someone that's looking to bet on or play DFS for the Open Championship, we have you covered there as well. Thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.